Borough Clerk Mary Guiney. Borough Clerk Monica Orlando present.
Just want to confirm there are no items, actions taken.
No action to be taken, Mr. Mayor, coming out of executive session.
Thank you, sir. At this time, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second. Third.
Motion made by Councilman Potter, seconded by Council President Revelinsky. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No? Okay. Then we will roll right into the meeting. Good evening. The April 29th meeting for Milltown Borough Council will now come to order. Will the clerk please read the open public meeting statement?
Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided as required under Chapter 231 Public Law 1975, specifying the time, date, and location by posting a copy of the notice on the municipal building, municipal website, providing a copy of the annual notice scheduled to the official newspapers of the borough, and is on file with the clerk's office.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Council President Revelinsky.
Here.
Councilman Collins.
Here.
Councilman Menko.
Here.
Councilman Poznanski.
Here.
Councilman Potter.
Here.
Councilman Zambrana.
Here.
Mayor Murray.
Here.
Borough Attorney Peter Vignola.
Present.
Borough Engineer Mike McClellan.
Present.
Borough Engineer Lou Plaskanka.
Present.
Borough Administrator Fred Carr.
Still here.
Deputy Borough Clerk Mary Guiney. Borough Clerk Monica Orlando present.
Okay, please join me in a moment of silence, followed by a salute to the flag. Now is the time for public comments listed on the resolution listed on the agenda. If you wish to speak, please step up to the microphone and say your name and address for the record.
Good evening, Michael Shikarjan, Environmental Commission, 19 Yarnell Avenue. I'm just coming up because I wanted to fill you in on a matter that we discussed last week in the Environmental Commission meeting with our council liaison. Councilman Zambrana and Councilman Menko was present as well, and I've sent an email forward with regard to this as well. And the reason for there being some urgency is because of the fact that there's a deadline of May 24th. And a resolution is required. So what I'm talking about is that the sustainability nonprofit, Sustainable Jersey, Sustainable NJ, has approached us and encouraged us to apply for a community energy plan grant. That grant would be for $10,000. And the opportunity basically trickles down from the Board of Public Utilities, developed to support the goals of the state's energy master plan, including attainment of 100% clean energy by 2050. And in addition to the $10,000, it allows technical support from Sustainable Jersey itself to create a community energy plan, is what it's called. The plan would chart potential implementation over 3 to 5 years, and if granted, the plan would establish a team to review and recommend potential strategies such as energy efficiency, resilience, and renewables from a work plan template that Sustainable Jersey provides. And then we would meet with Sustainable Jersey staff for discussion and advice, and submit a budget within 3 months of receiving the monies, or receiving the grant, which would allow us, to get some money, to get the monies, and hold 2 meetings with stakeholders in the community, one early and then one later during the granting period, and then formally adopt the community energy plan by passage of a municipal resolution. And the $10,000 that we would get could be used to cover the time and effort of municipal personnel, or if we're interested in having a consultant, or if we're interested in having a consultant, then we could use that money to hire a consultant. And the completion of the grant allows us opportunities for further grant monies, either from the state or from the federal government. But there is no actual requirement to implement the plan at this point. What Sustainable Jersey and BPU is interested in is municipalities getting a plan together. And the application is pretty simple. There's like a one-page application form. There's a certification by notary that we need to fill out, and then, importantly, there's a resolution that needs to be passed, a one-page resolution. And so I understand that the last meeting prior to that, May 24th deadline would be May 13th. And so that's why I'm raising it now and asking whether you would be interested in putting it on the agenda for that meeting. So that's the information that I can provide right now, and I'm happy to provide more if you're interested. Okay? Thank you very much.
Good evening. I'm first meeting I've attended, so I think I'm speaking at the right time. I'm Jean Patrick, a lifelong member of Milltown for 50-plus years.
Ms. Patrick, one quick second. Is it for the resolutions or is it general?
It is for the resolution
Perfect.
2024-137, but indirectly. Okay? Because there's no
Perfect.
resolution that ties in directly with it. Okay? I have been a lifelong teacher, educator for 35 years. When I retired, one of the goals that I had was to see the world. And I did. I traveled and I saw the world. And the last trip I took impressed me the most. And if I gave you 100 guesses to what country it was, I assure you wouldn't guess. It was to the Philippines. To the Philippine Islands. The friend that I traveled with, her great-great-grandfather was the first provincial governor, and we were guests and traveled through the Philippines extensively. The Philippines is a third world country, but what impressed me most about it was how they recognized senior citizens. Everywhere we went, we received a significant reduction in fees. If I tell you, I never felt so honored being a senior as I did in the Philippines. So how does this relate to this resolution? I know it is late now, but I'm hoping that my words will carry forth maybe next year when the time comes up for you to set prices at the pool regarding senior citizens. Right now, current price is $60 for a senior. Many seniors will not pay $60. And I'm here to tell you that as a member of our senior community, we pay $10 fees, and we get a whole lot in return. I am asking you, in the future, instead of charging what I consider a large amount of money that discourages seniors, to decrease that amount to $10 or charge seniors nothing. Milltown is a very special town. I moved from way next door South River to Milltown for one reason. My mom didn't drive. She could walk to church. We had a butcher shop. We had a grocery store here. Milltown is known in this state because of two things. We have a parade that is not just a paltry little parade. It's a significant parade. And we have a firework display on the 4th of July that rivals any of the towns. I would like you to consider a third reason to put Milltown on the map, that we respect our seniors and we value them in everything we do, starting with the Borough Pool, where we welcome them with open arms. I thank you. I thank you for serving this community. I don't know if anyone ever gets up here and says, thank you to you. Volunteerism is a thing of the past. People are not willing. I joined the Milltown Citizens Senior Committee, and in the second meeting, I became the second vice president because no one would take on the social committee obligations until the president begged, please, somebody volunteer. And not a single hand went up. And at the end of the meeting, I said, I will volunteer, but I'm a new member. I don't even know how we work. And he thought the sky opened and the angels were singing. So again, for you stepping out and giving of your time and talents, I thank you.
Seeing no further comments, this portion of the meeting is closed to the public. We have 3 proclamations tonight. Mr. Geis, would you come up to the center? Whereas George Geis was born on May 1st, 1928, and has been a lifelong resident of Milltown. And whereas George Geis is a Korean War veteran, proudly serving his community from 1951 to 1955. And whereas George married Dorothy in 1955, and they raised their daughters Cheryl and Cindy in the Borough of Milltown. And whereas George joined the Milltown Fire Department in 1950 and remains an active firefighter to this day. And whereas George has been active in our community throughout his life, including working at Chicopee Manufacturing for 37 years, worked part-time for the Borough of Milltown as a janitor, serving as a foreman for the hose company Firehouse in 1965, serving as Milltown Fire Department Exec President from 1982 to 1984, serving as an usher at Our Lady of Lourdes Church and a member of the American Legion Post 25. Whereas the Borough of Milltown wishes to celebrate and honor George Geis on his 96th birthday. Now, therefore, I, George Murray, Mayor of the Borough of Milltown, along with the Borough Council, declare May 1st, 2024 as George Geis Day in the Borough of Milltown, and we extend our deepest gratitude for George for all he has contributed to our community.
Oh, thank you very much,
I'd like to say something.
and the members of Ray, our chief. Ray and the firemen, thank you for everything. It's been a long road. I had a laugh the other day. I came in and to pay the taxes, and the tax collector was there. And she asked me, she said, what do you attribute to living to a long life like this? And I said, well, the first thing you do when you get home at night after supper, you go in the refrigerator and you take a bottle of Sam Adams out and have yourself a nice little drink. Now, I think that what helps a lot is to have a good attitude. You have to have a good attitude. You can't get up in the morning every day fighting the world with a chip on your shoulder, say good morning to everybody. Join the fire department with the greatest bunch of guys in Milltown that keep you young, keep you moving. And I think that's what makes you stay a little longer. And maybe, I don't know, maybe we can make another one out another year. Thank you, Mayor.
There's no one for the second one, George. I don't know for you. There's nobody for like the telecommunicator one. You can just read. There's nobody here to take it. No.
Congress has, and the President of the United States have established the second week of April as National Telecommunicators Week. And whereas an emergency occurs, the prompt response of police officers, firefighters, paramedics is critical to the protection of life and preservation of property. In the Borough of Milltown, public safety telecommunicators are a single vital link between first responders and persons seeking immediate relief during an emergency. And whereas the work of these unseen first responders is invaluable in emergency situations, and whereas each dispatcher has exhibited compassion, understanding, and professionalism during their performance of their job in the past years. Now, therefore, I, George Murray, Mayor of the Borough of Milltown, along with the Borough Council, do hereby proclaim the week of April 14th through 20th, 2024 as National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week. In the Borough of Milltown, I encourage the citizens of Milltown to express their appreciation to the Milltown Borough Public Safety Telecommunicators for their diligence and professionalism, and keep our town and citizens safe. Whereas the office of professional municipal clerks, a time-honored and vital part of local governments, exists through the world, and whereas the office of professional municipal clerks is the oldest among public servants, and whereas the office of professional municipal clerks provide the professional link between citizens and local government bodies, agencies, and government at other levels, and whereas professional municipal clerks have pledged to be ever mindful of their neutrality and impartial rendering of equal services to all. Whereas the professional municipal clerks serve as information center on functional of local governments and communities. Whereas professional municipal clerks continually strive to improve the administration of the affairs of the office of the professional municipal clerks through participation, education programs, seminars, workshops, and annual meetings of their state, provincial, county, and international professional organizations. Whereas it is most appropriate that we recognize the accomplishments of the Office of Professional Municipal Clerk. Now, therefore, I, George Murray, Mayor of the Borough of Milltown, along with the Borough Council, do recognize the week of May 5th through 11th as Professional Municipal Clerks Week, and further extend our appreciation to our professional municipal clerk, Monica Orlando, and professional deputy municipal clerk, Mary Guy, and all professional municipal clerks for the vital services they perform in their exemplary dedication to the communities they represent. following minutes on the agenda for acceptance: April 8th, 2024, regular session. Are there any comments or corrections? Can I have a motion to accept the minutes as typed?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Who's second?
I'll take this.
So
I'll go
everyone's
second
being-
next time, Dave.
No worries. It's all good.
Motion made by Council President Revelinsky, seconded by Councilman Potter. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ordinance introduction. Will the clerk please read ordinance 24-1535 by title only?
Ordinance to amend Chapter 22, Section 11, entitled Right of Access, Chapter 22, Section 22, Testing Meters, Failure of Meters, Chapter 25, Section 7, entitled Meter Testing, Chapter 25, Section 7, entitled, Chapter 22, Section 2, entitled Fees for Municipal Services, Chapter 5, Section 1.7, entitled Dog License Fees, Chapter 5, Section 5-2.3, entitled Cat License Fees, Chapter 4, Section 40.7, entitled Fees, Chapter 6, Section 6-3.4, entitled Classes and Maximum Number of Licenses, License Fees, and Chapter 15, Section 2, entitled Administrative Fees for all subcodes of the revised general ordinances of the Borough of Milltown.
You've heard the reading of this ordinance. What is your pleasure?
Go ahead, Dave.
No, go ahead.
The ordinance one is long. I make a motion that this ordinance be introduced,
Adopted
adopted
at
on
first reading.
first reading, and
Public
then-
hearing, May
Pub-
13th.
Why don't you just say it and I'll say aye.
Okay.
May 13th meeting.
And I'll second. And that's why I let you
Yeah.
take the ordinance.
Is motion made by Council President Revelinsky, seconded by Councilman Potter. Is there any questions or comments?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. I had a question on section 5-1.7, dog license fees. It says, in accordance with the provision of Chapter 307, the laws of the state of New Jersey, the annual fee for potential dangerous dog license to be renewed shall be $700. Is that the standard?
That is standard, and that's the state fee, and that's not being amended. That's what it's been in our town, but that's also the state fee for the dangerous dogs.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Is a basset hound a dangerous dog?
Well, I gotta.
Just want to make
I'm
sure.
sorry. What was your question?
What is the definition of a dangerous dog?
the question you asked.
I know. I asked originally if a basset hound was a dangerous dog, but I'll amend that question to be, what is the definition of a dangerous dog? Is it a dog that has a record of causing harm, or is it just of specific breeds?
I'm not,
I think you're barking up the wrong
I would
tree,
have to
Rich.
pull the state statute for you and see exactly what qualifies. I don't believe we have any in town that I'm aware of.
I think it's if it bites 3 times or something, isn't it? Or it's a...
3 strikes, you're out? I'm
I don't know.
We could have an answer for that on...
I'll defer to Borough Attorney on this one.
As well you should. We'll have an answer for the 13th. Thank you.
Sorry.
Got it.
Would the clerk please call the roll?
No, it's okay. I'll just die a little bit. Council President Revelinsky.
Aye.
Councilman Collins.
Aye.
Councilman Manco.
Aye.
Councilman Poznanski.
Aye.
Councilman Potter.
Aye.
Councilman Zambrana.
Aye.
A public hearing on this ordinance will take place on May 13th at 7 p.m. in council chambers. Public hearing on second reading ordinance. The following ordinance will be introduced on April 8th as advertised in accordance with law. If any member of the public wishes to comment on this ordinance, they may do so after the reading. Will the clerk please read ordinance 24-1534 by title?
Ordinance renaming Lanny Lane to Paul W. Core Lane in Milltown, New Jersey.
You have heard the reading of this ordinance. What is your pleasure?
Move that this ordinance be adopted.
Second?
Second, final reading.
Motion by Council President Revelinsky, seconded by Councilman Collins. Is there any comments? No. I will open a public hearing on ordinance 24-1534. Public hearing is now closed. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Council President Revelinsky.
Aye.
Councilman Collins.
Aye.
Councilman Menko.
Aye.
Councilman Poznanski.
Aye.
Councilman Potter.
Aye.
Councilman Zambrana.
Aye.
Authorizing payment of municipal obligation. Will the clerk please read the resolution by title?
Resolution 2024-130, authorizing the payment of bills, claims, and statements against the Borough of Milltown in the total amount of $3,235,228.12.
You have heard the reading of this resolution. What is your pleasure?
Mr. Mayor, make a motion that this bill list be approved as typed.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Potter, seconded by Council President Revelinsky. If you heard the reading of this resolution, what is your pleasure? Comments or questions? No comments or questions? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Council President Revelinsky.
Aye.
Councilman Collins.
Aye.
Councilman Menko.
Aye.
Councilman Poznanski.
Aye.
Councilman Potter.
Aye.
Councilman Zambrana.
Aye.
Consent agenda. A consent resolution has been prepared for the resolutions listed on the agenda. All matters listed under the consent agenda are considered to be routine in nature and having been reviewed by the Borough Council will be enacted in one motion. Any items may be removed from the consent agenda at the request of any council member. If so removed, it will be treated as a separate matter. Any items requiring expenditure are supported by certification of funds. If any member of the council wants any resolution acted upon individually, please give me the resolution number and it will be pulled from the consent resolution.
Mr. Mayor, 2024-135, please.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to pull 2024-137.
Mr. Mayor, if we could pull 2024-140, good God, 2024-143, 145, and 148.
43, 45, 48. Yeah.
43, 45.
Those are the numbers to write.
Will the clerk please read the consent agenda resolution?
Whereas pursuant to the rules of council, the council may establish a consent agenda for any regular or special meetings upon certain conditions, and whereas each of the following resolutions to be presented before the Borough Council at its April 29th, 2024 regular meeting appear to have the unanimous approval of all members of the Borough Council. 2024-132 through 134, 2024-136, 2024-138 through 142, 2024-144, 2024-146, 2024-147, and 2024-149. Now therefore be resolved by the Borough Council at the Borough of Milltown that each of the above listed resolution be approved and adopted by the Borough Council with the same legal effect as though each were read in its entirety at the April 29th, 2024 regular meeting and adopted by separate vote.
You've heard the reading of this consent resolution. What is your pleasure?
I'll move that this resolution be adopted.
Second.
Motion made by Council President Revelinsky and seconded by Councilman Potter. Are there any comments on the resolutions that are not excluded? Okay, will the clerk please call the roll?
Council President Revelinsky.
Aye.
Councilman Collins.
Aye.
Councilman Menko.
Aye.
Councilman Poznanski.
Aye.
Councilman Potter.
Aye.
Councilman Zambrana.
Oh, sorry.
Will the clerk read Resolution 2024-135 by title, please.
Appointing Board of Health Secretary.
What is the pleasure of council?
Mr. Mayor, I would like to discuss this one, and I asked for this to be pulled, actually, because I know you had some email correspondence going back and forth and some thoughts that you wanted to share with the rest of council, so I wanted to afford you that opportunity.
Thank you. I just I was trying to identify some clarification. This resolution, as conversations had been occurring, Resolution 24-1530 of the salary ordinance spelled out the board secretary in resolutions 064-2023 and 200-2022 spelled out Board of Health Secretary. This is just for information. That indicated $100 per meeting, not indicated as a stipend on the current resolution. I did look at it, there's only 5 meetings per year, and the next meeting is on June 25th. So if you wanted to, there's time to discuss before the next meeting, but that was just for clarification, so everyone was aware of exactly what that was all about.
And also from clarification from the clerk's office, the current Board of Health Secretary is not paid $100 per meeting. She's paid a monthly stipend. And even though there are only 5 meetings, there's monthly work that the Board of Health Secretary has to do. There are reports to the county health department, there are dog bite reports, there's vital statistics, there's food licensing. It is not just attending meetings. The workload that the Board of Health Secretary does is not just attending meetings, it's preparing for the meetings, preparing reports. And those resolutions, I don't believe would supersede a salary ordinance that has read the same salary since 21, 23, and 24. And the past practice of the current Board of Health Secretary gets paid monthly. She does not get paid a meeting stipend.
Monica, or Ms. Orlando, what is the current stipend or monthly pay to the Board of Health Secretary?
I would have to confirm that. I believe she's doing $100 a month, but I don't want to be exactly quoted on that.
Being that there's a lot of interest in the clerk's office, does the mayor have other offices that he has an interest in as far as stipends or salaries or anything like that?
Not sure. It's a question, but I'm not sure that it's germane to the present.
It's a particular office that seems to gather a lot of interest. That's where my question starts.
But doesn't
You don't
the-
have to answer.
What is the pleasure of council?
I got a question on this one, but you also have to go to the rabies clinic, is that correct?
Yeah,
So that's
the
actually
rabies
6
clinic is
meetings, it's
included
not
as
actually-
well. It's not just the 5 meetings here, there's a lot more work that goes into it. And the reason it's in the clerk's office is because we are certified as registrars. We handle the food licensing, and any other Board of Health licensing goes through the clerk's office. Yes.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that this resolution be adopted.
Second.
Thank you, Councilman Potter. A motion made by Councilman Potter, and it was seconded by Councilman Collins. Is there any discussion? No. We had it. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Council President Revelinsky.
Aye.
Councilman Collins.
Aye.
Councilman Manco.
Aye.
Councilman Poznanski.
Aye.
Councilman Potter.
Aye.
Councilman Zambrana.
Aye.
Thank you for providing the clarification.
Thank you. Will the clerk please read resolution number 2024-137 by title?
Authorizing preparation and advertisement of bids for the lease and operation of the Milltown Municipal Pool Snack Shack.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I just had a question. Shouldn't this go out earlier? I mean, because we only have 2 months before the pool opens. Do we traditionally do it this way, or?
Well, with having a new QPA and rec a new rec director. I think we had to kind of get all our eggs in a row, or eggs in one basket, eggs in a row, whatever the saying is. Ducks in a row, quack. To get everything done. It went out there. We looked at last year's bid that was not very successful, and then I believe the year that was successful, I want to say it was 2018 or 2019, did a comparison on both, did a lot of email back and forth between myself, the rec director, the business administrator, and the QPA, and that's how we got it put together. But the bids are due, we're doing the bid opening this month, so it'll be good to go for the pool season.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I would say to back off on that, there was considerable back and forth between the QPA and the staff to clean up some of the open issues, to make sure we had a good bid that provides a quality service. And also, compared to what we have done in years past, not to put an undue strain on the staff, just an independent person, run the snack shack, that's their step, and we do the rest of it.
Okay, thank you.
Dr. Sir.
Will the clerk please call the roll? Did we make the motion?
We didn't get a motion or second.
Motion?
Okay.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Collins, seconded by Councilman Potter. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Council President Revelinsky.
Aye.
Councilman Collins.
Aye.
Councilman Manco.
Aye.
Councilman Poznanski. Councilman Potter.
Aye.
Councilman Zambrana.
Aye.
Will the clerk please read resolution number 2024-145 by title, please?
143.
Oh, 143.
Authorizing memorandum of understanding with the Middlesex County Prosecutor's Office automated license plate recognition devices.
What's the pleasure of council?
So I just pulled this just to get a little bit more information, and I noticed my watch went off and some MOU showed up about this, about 25 minutes ago. So what exactly are we doing here? I didn't see a cost, I didn't see like that.
So-
Missing pages?
So I could tell you, I just,
Okay.
not in your packet?
Something about missing pages, 2 missing pages.
So if I could clarify, I actually just got the email when you guys were in executive session
Okay.
at 4:30, 4:45.
Okay.
So I waited because I didn't want to bombard your executive session with phones going off. So I waited till you guys got out of executive session prior to
Yep.
sending it, but I wanted to make sure everybody got it. From what I read in it, it was the maintenance cost and fees for it. We currently have 2 devices in Milltown currently.
Right.
And we're, according to the police chief, we're looking to obtain 2 more if possible. And this is...
To allow for more scanning, oversight, surveillance?
Yes, correct. And it's, from what the chief was explaining to me was, if you want to do both sides of the road, you have to have one on each side of the road because it only gets one direction.
Right.
Like, they're currently going to install one on Riders Lane. There's going to be one on each side. So it's going to...
So we have 2 right now?
We currently have 2, but we're looking to get 2 more.
Do we know, or can we say where those 2 are located right now?
I don't
Is that a
think you
No, we
want to.
can't say.
Okay.
I will say that they were ineffective in locating a stolen dirt bike.
Got it. Got it.
And I will add that, these are, what we're talking about for folks at home, if you didn't hear, this is about automated license plate recognition devices. What they do is basically if there's a crime that's reported, these are taking photographs of license plates as they come in and out of town with timestamps. So if there is a child abduction, if there is a theft, or if there's something real severe going on, we can log into that database, see all the vehicles that pass through town at a given time and start to narrow down our search. This is also integrated into a state system, so you can actually track someone from Milltown to, say, Newark, and possibly locate your stolen car. So
This is
Like I
all
s-
in real time, right?
this is,
Yes, real time.
these are real time.
And Councilman Zambrana, just to let you know, this MOA is just an agreement between us and the MCPO.
Yeah, that's,
They provide the equipment for free, and we allow them to install, and it's part of a nationwide, county-wide initiative.
free's good.
Free is very good.
Yep.
That came from Chief Johnson.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
I think this is a good deal, and I think it's going to help the town and the residents out with some of the crime that we've had, you know, people coming in and breaking into cars and stuff. I think it's going to help them.
Couldn't agree more.
We need a motion.
Motion.
So moved?
Second.
Motion made by Council President Revlinsky, seconded by Councilman Potter. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Council President Revelinsky.
Aye.
Councilman Collins.
Aye.
Councilman Menko.
Aye.
Councilman Poznanski.
Aye.
Councilman Potter.
Aye.
Councilman Zambrana.
Aye.
Will the clerk please read resolution number 2024-145 by title, please?
Authorizing the hiring of a computer IT consultant vendor through the competitive contracting process.
So I pulled this one to ask a question. Usually, we go out to bid for this type of situation more towards we're getting to the end of the year, August, September, October. Why are we going out so early, and is there an issue with our current provider?
From what I understand, Mr. Carr, if you can correct me if I'm wrong, I think because we did it in end of 23, beginning of 24, and we didn't have a QPA in place to accept the information, I think it's a repost or rebid. Is that a correct statement?
Yes, sir. A little more detailed for you. So there was a QPA in place when we initially went out for bid. The QPA was replaced by a different QPA. During that interim process of appointing the current QPA, the RFQ or RFP went stale. That's the language. Council took no action to extend the date of time of that bid process. They took no action. It died. It went stale. New QPA came in on board and evaluated a couple of the stale bids that we had out there. This was one of them. She recommended that we redo it. That's why it's here tonight. There's no problem with the current one. He's a holdover. He's still working, and I was flogging him just last Friday for something, so
Okay.
he's still out there.
Sounds
no
good.
problem.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
What's the pleasure of council?
Move that this resolution be adopted?
Second.
I have a motion by Council President Revlinsky, seconded by Councilman Collins. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Council President Revelinsky.
Aye.
Councilman Collins.
Aye.
Councilman Menko.
Aye.
Councilman Poznanski.
Aye.
Councilman Potter.
Aye.
Councilman Zambrana.
Aye.
Will the clerk please read resolution number 2024-148 by title?
Authorizing hiring part-time chief finance officer.
So only question.
Wait, that one, we're on 46, aren't we?
48.
Oh, I'm
Nobody
sorry. I
pulled
thought
146.
Councilman Zambrana said 45 through 49 when he...
No,
No.
just
No,
148.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So, I understand this is on the agenda tonight for approval. I actually sat in, thank you, Councilman Revelinsky, for inviting me to that interview with the CFO. I'm sure Joe is going to be wonderful. I wasn't under the impression it was going to be a 4-year term, though. Maybe it was me, I thought it was going to be like a 1-year term and we'd revisit it again. But this is going to be a 4-year term?
If I could just step in, every resolution that we've done for CFO has been that, because that's a statutory term.
Okay, and then my second question was, so the dollar amount's high, I get it, but double what we paid our previous CFO? We're good with that?
I can answer that question if you like.
Yes.
So, there was a series of emails out there, I'm pretty sure the council was involved in those, that started off at the beginning of the year with the original appointment of the one gentleman with his hourly rate times pot with a max of 25 hours, as, you know, it's a max. Denise came in at 60. We brought in Joe Mamone at 30 with the conversation that a portion of that salary would be used to assist in that mentoring conversation that we started because he was an inexperienced CFO.
Right.
So the math would have been 30 for Joe and 30 for Brunswick to to allow that shared service, that interlocal agreement, that shared, so he could work there with that CFO, looking over his shoulder and helping him. That went south. I reached out to Mr. Zanga, who I've known for a few years, 12, do the math, yes, 12 years since Sandy, and asked him to come up here and give me a hand. And that's where we are today.
So I understand that. I'm sure Joe's going to do a wonderful job.
Agreed.
And obviously, we're at the point where, we're beyond the point, past the point where we need a CFO. It's double what we paid our part-time CFO last year. Just want to make sure that everyone understands that. What you raise in this position, you're going to have to save somewhere else, wherever you're saving that money from, and I'm not really sure. Thanks.
Okay, what is the pleasure of council?
I move that this resolution be adopted.
Second.
I have a motion made by Council President Revlinsky, seconded by Councilman Potter. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Council President Revelinsky.
Aye.
Councilman Collins.
Aye.
Councilman Menko.
Aye.
Councilman Poznanski.
Aye.
Councilman Potter.
Aye.
Councilman Zambrana.
Aye.
Reports of elected officials. Council President Revelinsky.
Happy to report that we've got a CFO now, so I thank everyone for that. We look forward to working with him on the upcoming budget and hopefully the introduction of that in the coming weeks. As for Ford Avenue Redevelopment Agency, we did have a meeting a few weeks ago, and we appointed the new, Executive Director, I apologize, I'm drawing a blank there, who we look to really have do a great job in putting a positive face on what's going on over there at Ford Avenue, or at least to come. And the planning board meeting unfortunately was canceled for this month, so hopefully again we'll have something next month. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Councilman Collins?
No report, Mr. Mayor.
Bless you, bless you.
No report, Mr. Mayor.
Nope, thank you. Councilman Menko?
So, the few things for the library. Wednesday, May 1st, there'll be a tween craft at 3. Thursday, May 2nd, there's after-school Jeopardy! Origami for beginners with Miss White at 3 p.m. is also that day. The movie in May will be Thursday, May 9th at 3 p.m. And there's Western Rodeo Bingo with square dancers on Saturday, May 11th at 11 a.m. The Friends of the Milltown Library will be having a bling and mini book sale on Saturday, May 4th from 10 to 2 p.m. And you can reach out to the library if you want to give or donate anything. And on Monday, May 6th, the library will be a host location for a pollinator garden planting program at 6 p.m. If you'd like any more information about the library, you can always call them. I'm sure nobody's going to write down their number now, but it is available on the web. Take a look there. As always, they work very hard at being a highly interactive part of our town. They do a lot of good things, as well as at Earth Day. They were there too. Just quality. Just quality. It's a good thing for our town. Additionally, the rec department had a few things that I would mention. So Saturday, June 29th is the expected date of the Play in the Park for the musical theater program. We mentioned that just to be ahead of the game a little bit, so you can put that into your calendars. There is an adult softball league that was started, and I believe they are still accepting some people. Should we need anything else for that? And beyond that, the Devil's Night was a huge success. The spring programs are running, and they're no longer accepting applications for the pool. They have started going through and whittling things down. But the other thing I would mention is that from the green team, I know they're starting to move forward. I know the Home Depot donated a lot of things with Dorian to go and start with the senior center. I don't know exactly when the time frame is, but that should be coming up pretty soon. And I believe she's also involved with the library and the pollinator garden on some level.
That was Community Day.
Is that?
Community Day at the park. Earth Day.
Earth Day, oh. Well, so after Earth Day at the park, I had a great time. It seemed like a lot of people did. It started out, didn't look good, it was drizzling in the morning, and with the variety of different groups involved, you really don't have one person to call. But I went down there to DPW, I gotta say, thank you, you guys, because they took all the kayaks, 16 kayaks from my front yard that some were mine, some were donated by other people in town. Other people just randomly messaged me like, hey, I have vests for kids that I haven't used in 10 years, and they were there. And I had a few friends of mine, my brother and another friend of mine who spent the day in the water. But a lot of people were there, a lot of people helping set up. All of the different groups in general. Earth Day was, I think it had a tremendous cleanup. There was a lot taken. There was the bat houses seemed to work nicely, and they got some kids involved decorating, and they're going to be put up around town by our DPW. And the environmental committee will also kind of give some characteristics or good spots for where those will be. We're thinking there might be a map available if people want to go looking for any of the ones that they decorated. So the Girl Scouts the week before had decorated they assembled in getting a woodworking badge, about 6 of them, and decorated them as well, and donated them back to the Earth Day extravaganza. The library was there, of course. Just a whole lot of people, a lot of great help. A lot of the town just came out that day. And this young gentleman to my left here, you seem to be setting up and involved in so many things that you're not on the stage for. So, and one of the library people was quick to mention that. So I thought it's good to mention that too.
Thank you.
Plus, he's bashful, so I figured. But it was a great day. We got about 80 people in the water with the kayaking. We're hoping maybe to do another event, maybe this summer at some point on the other side of the dam. It has been cleaned up quite a bit. The access is good, and it seems like there are a lot of people that are interested in it. Down the road, good stuff. I don't want to talk all day either. So, thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Poznanski.
Sure. I represent the Senior Center, and I'll start here with presentations. On Wednesday, May 15th, 1:30, Mayor George Murray will have a question and answer session. Sign up is not required. Tuesday, May 21st, 1:30, Will from Milltown Rescue Squad will have a question and answer informational session. Sign up is also not required. On Wednesday, the 22nd, 1:30, we'll have a lunch and learn presentation by the Excelsior Care Group. Sign up is required, as we will serve lunch. The VNA nurse will be here on Tuesday, May 21st, from 12 to 3. And upcoming spring and summer trips, we have several upcoming trips, which include a trip to Rutgers Gardens, Thomas Edison Lighthouse, Shrimp Box at Point Pleasant, Haley's Pub, Zimmerly, Art Museum, and Boscov's. Please check the calendar for specific days and times of the event. We have a new program in conjunction with Parker entitled Social Club Parker. Every Friday from 10:30 to 1:30, the bus from Parker picks up Milltown participants at the Senior Center and brings them to Parker for the day. They provide lunch, access to swimming, fitness instruction, chair exercise, arts and crafts, current event discussions, trivia, gardening, music, and other activities. At 1:30, the bus brings participants back to Milltown Senior Center. The cost is just $3 per week. If you're interested, please see Debbie for more information and sign up. And I also have for the DPW, not much of a report, but Ralph Jesnowski, who's the director, has he applied for and received a $10,000 recycling grant, which will be on site for drop-offs, different types of recycling. And I also have for historic preservation, we spoke about the train station, and for the Historic Society, they've received $10,000 as a gift from Joyce Crayville, and they would like to restore the outside of the museum house to preserve the wood and for new paint. And that ends my report.
Thank you. Councilman Zambrana. Oh, I'm sorry, Councilman Potter. I apologize.
No worries, no worries. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. From the Milltown Police Department, this past Thursday night, a burglary occurred at the Milltown Foreign Car Service. The suspects gained entry by prying open a side window to the business. The incident is currently being investigated by our Detective Bureau. The Middletown Police Department is accepting resumes for the position of an entry-level police officer and will continue to accept them until May 24, 2024. I just wanted to read a quick excerpt from the press release. The Middletown Police Department has started a recruitment process for a position of an entry-level police officer. Chief Johnson stated, "If you're ready to embark on a rewarding career that makes a difference every day, we invite you to apply today. Join us in our commitment to serve and protect our community, county, and state with honor and dedication. Our ideal candidates are those who will be committed to the mission of law enforcement, are willing to put in the effort and dedication required, and who have demonstrated integrity, respect, and accountability throughout their lives. Applicants must be willing to face challenges and complexities of modern policing with integrity and courage. No prior law enforcement experience is required. You must be at least 18 years old and no older than 35, at the time of appointment. You must be a U.S. citizen, a resident of New Jersey, and possess a valid New Jersey driver's license. Applicants will undergo multiple interviews, criminal background investigations, drug screenings, physical fitness tests, medical and psychological exams. Are you ready to step up and make a difference in our community? If so, apply today." From the Middletown Fire Department, members are needed. Any candidates interested in joining the Middletown Fire Department are encouraged to stop by the firehouse on Monday nights at 6:30 or email joinmilltownfire@gmail.com. From the Middletown Rescue Squad, the Rescue Squad's 2024 fund drive has begun. Keep an eye out for the mailer, which is right here, that has come out and it's been sent out to all the residents and businesses. The Rescue Squad will be conducting a door-to-door campaign from May 6th to May 9th. But residents are encouraged to donate by either scanning the QR code on the flyer or mail in their donation or place it in the secure donation box at the Rescue Squad on the side of the building facing the parking lot. The Rescue Squad's annual open house will be on Sunday, May 19th from noon to 4. This is a family-friendly event and all are welcome. And anyone interested in applying to join the Rescue Squad should visit their open house or email recruitment@milltownrescuesquad.org. And finally, Mr. Mayor, from the Milltown 4th of July organization. The Milltown 4th of July organization would like to thank everyone who participated in the fun and successful celebrity bartender event that occurred on April 20th. I personally like to thank all of my council members that joined us behind the bar, Mr. Mayor as well. It was a great event. And the organization would like to congratulate our 2024 Grand Marshal for this year's 4th of July parade, former Mayor Trina Jensen-Mayer, who is with us this evening. So congratulations. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Councilman Zimbrano.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. As Michael Shirkarjian notated at the beginning of the meeting, there is a grant application that will be submitted on May 24th, so we're hoping that we can get a resolution on the May 13th meeting as one of the requirements to submit that grant. Earth Day was a good success. As Councilman Manco said, along with the kayaks, we actually had a good turnout. About 100 volunteers showed up to bag trash, which our DPW department picked up. And there were about 30 to 45 other volunteers that showed up at the fair. Our meeting last Wednesday, the 24th, at that meeting, the commission asked me to ask if it was possible for the borough to insert a budget line item, however small it may be, for next year's Earth Day to help them procure a couple of items that would help them next year. There was also a question from the commission if the general public or the residents can make a donation to fund activities for the Environmental Commission, like Earth Day, for 2025. And I did fire off an email in the middle of the meeting to our borough clerk, Monica Orlando. She was away at our clerk's conference, so we'll take that up at some point about having further discussion about that in the future. One thing that I'd like to get, is it possible to get a copy of the architect's report for the Schwendeman property? Members of the commission asked for that.
We reached out to him recently. Absolutely, I don't see why that report wouldn't be made public or made available to anyone who wants it. We did reach out to him 2 weeks ago to inquire as to when he was going to perform his study. he had communicated some dates with Ralph, but I don't know if he actually performed it yet or not.
Okay, I'll relay that to the commission. And then as Councilman Manco said, the bat houses were a great success. They will be placed along certain areas of the borough, most likely next to bodies of water. So, don't know if anyone will be able to spot them, but that's the plan anyway. Our Board of Health meeting, the next meeting will be June 25th. Mary, congrats and welcome to the Board of Health, and we'll see you on the 25th. And then our Revitalization Advisory Committee, our next meeting will be on the 14th, which is the second Tuesday, as we continue to make preparations for Milltown Day 2024. And then last but not least, our HRC Committee will be meeting for the first time, first Tuesday in May, which is May 7th, a week from tomorrow. That meeting will be in person. Pizza will be available and some soft drinks, and hopefully we'll have a reorg and move that committee forward. And that concludes my reports.
Thank you, sir. Mine's brief. I have a couple questions as well. This might fall under old business, but I just want to see if the Finance Committee can provide an update for the South Main Street Firehouse property. I don't know if it's been discussed.
Sorry, I'm writing that down. Yes, as we had previously discussed, we have to reach out to our borough planner and find out with that and bring it up to the council and see what they want to do. But I've actually been contacted by a few different individuals, all asking about, procuring the property and possibly putting in a business there. So we're sitting on an asset, and we should probably do something with it.
Okay, thank you. I want to thank the Borough Clerk for creating the 2024 folder in the agendas, meeting minutes, and resolutions on the Borough website. She got that taken care of while she was at her municipal clerks conference, so I appreciate that. Is there a update for the title search for the trestle, Mr. Vignola?
They are still working on it.
Thank you.
As indicated, it's a little more complicated than thought.
Yep. Okay. I have a letter from the National Carriers Association. This is a National Association of Letter Carriers, are basically your mail carriers, do a food drive every year. So the letter carriers in Milltown will be participating in the NALC Stamp Out Hunger Food Drive again this year on May 11th. And the citizens, all you have to do is, if you have bags or boxes of canned goods or boxed goods, and you just put it out by your door, and the postal carriers will pick it up, put it in their trucks, and then they bring it to a central location. So that is May 11th, and I'll see if Mr. Einbinder could put that on the borough website, on the Channel 15 as well. That's that. Our Lady of Lourdes School on 40 Cleveland Avenue will be hosting an annual clothing drive and used sporting goods event that ends Tuesday night for pickup on items on Wednesday morning. Items can be left at the entrance door of the school at 40 Cleveland Avenue. And then I just had one more question, Councilman Ponzanski. If you had an update, because there was conversations about PSE&G, so I didn't know if you had an update or if you can reach out to Mr. Jesnowski for an update of the timing of when PSE&G is looking to mill, pave, and stripe Main Street, and what that's going to encompass.
I don't have an update, but I'll get that from Ralph. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And that's the end of my comments. Reports from borough professionals. Borough engineer.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a quick update on the West Foch Avenue improvements. To date, the sanitary sewer improvements have been completed and tested. The water services have been completed. The under drain work is complete. The contractor's installed curb and sidewalk on the south side of the road, and he's presently working on the curb and sidewalk on the north side of the road. Once that work is complete, he can start excavation of the pavement and putting in the new base pavement for the roadway. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
Can I also comment? So Lou, thank you very much. Actually, Councilman Zambrano and I got a question from a few of the residents, regarding the communication. So the information that you provided to council has been shared, and then also to thank you, Monica and Mary, for posting that also on the website as well, so the residents can see the 2-week progress. So, have they been putting the information on the residents' doors, or that's the only way they're going to find out is from the website?
Well, there's notices that we put out to the doors when certain phases of the job start.
Yep.
So once they get done with the curb and sidewalk and move to the road improvements, another notice will go out and
Perfect.
tell the
At least
residents.
they can see the
it's coming.
2-week progress on the website as well.
Right.
So, perfect. Thank you.
Mr. Vignola?
No report. It was a big report regarding the lack of any information on the title search, but you beat me to it with the question.
Thank you. Borough Administrator?
I have nothing, sir.
Okay. Borough Clerk, Monica Orlando?
I have a few things. As always, talking about Election Day. May 14th is the deadline to register to vote. I have forms in my office. May 28th is the deadline to apply for a mail-in ballot. Those forms also available in my office. Early voting will be May 29th through June 2nd. Tuesday, June 4th is primary election day, 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. As I said at the last meeting, Districts 1 and 4 have been moved here to the municipal building. Those affected should have gotten postcards in the mail by now. I also sent out emails to all of my poll workers regarding training and if they needed it, and how to sign up for the payment portal through the county, because they are finally paying you directly. So if you were expecting an email and you didn't get it from me, reach out to our office. As far as the website for the updates, our office has been working on making the page a little bit more user-friendly. So if you go to the government tab, you can see Borough Council ordinances and resolutions for each year. You can click through them. Also, there's a tab that says Borough Council meeting documents. There you will find the agenda packet, any approved minutes, and we also added the link, the YouTube link for the meetings to make it easier for you to access. The 2024 folder that the mayor was speaking about earlier was always there. We had actually taken it down last week when we put all the 2024 stuff on the news side, but we put it back up at his request. Also on the website on the front page, you'll see the West Foch updates that we get from the engineer. It's an image. You can click on it and make it bigger. Our goal is any updates like that you'll be able to find on the front page now. We also put notices about the special meeting, try and link to the agenda just so you're not searching through, trying to fight the right tabs to where you're going. It's right there, front page, and you click on it. Let's see, what else? Financial disclosure, this applies to the volunteers and the council people. Tomorrow is the deadline. If you have not filed it, I can't do anything to help you. The state is issuing fines. They issued fines last year. I've sent like 3 reminders out to everybody. May the odds be ever in your favor. Our secretary, Kathy Beardsley, is retiring tomorrow. I'm sorry. It's her last day. We're all very sad. I'm good. We're hosting a retirement luncheon here in council chambers, starting at 11:30, going through the end of the day. I invite anybody, any of our residents who know and love Kathy, stop by. Please come say hello, goodbye, wish her luck on her next venture. Maybe give me a hug. We're all gonna need one. But there'll be food here. It'll be a very relaxed environment here. Just please come and say goodbye and wish her well. And along the same lines of Kathy retiring, we have not yet posted her position. So as far as the clerk's office, starting May 1st, things like coming in to have items notarized, coming in to obtain certified copies, you're gonna have to call us ahead of time and schedule an appointment. It's just gonna be Mary and I. We're balancing a lot in there. We will do our best to work with your schedule, but we're gonna need a couple of weeks to find our footing and get used to just being the 2 of us in that office. And that concludes my report.
Does any member of council have any old business to bring before the council?
Yes, I do. I have a question, and it could seem rhetorical, but I don't want it answered till I'm finished. Can anyone tell me what is happening with the situation with St. Paul's Church? We know they have had for-profit use of the church hall with multiple police response and neighbors that live in surrounding homes have painfully come forward to ask for help multiple times. The consistory president has pleaded the case for understanding. He also has told council that there would be no more events. There have been events, nonetheless. No one is coming after freedom of religion. I am not. If someone would say that I am, I suggest they read the First and 14th Amendment, because I have. What people see is that their neighbors have asked for help numerous times on issues that could affect them, and no one seems to care. I'm speaking out now because I do speak for those that do not believe they have a voice, whether they are our residents or our loyal borough employees. Where there is mistreatment, justice is delayed, is justice denied. If the matter is being discussed, council is not informed. This would be a lack of transparency to those that actually are tasked with the decision-making.
For the record, my understanding is that it is still pending in the municipal court.
Can you talk into the microphone, please?
It is my understanding that it is still pending in the municipal court. I believe that a municipal summons is issued, and it is being handled by our zoning officer.
Thank you, sir. Anything else?
New business?
About to read it.
Old business.
Oh, old business.
I have new business.
Oh,
Does any member of council have any new business to bring before council?
Yeah, I have a few things, Mr. Mayor. First one is, Councilman Pasanesi, thank you very much for bringing up the PSE&G. Be very curious to see when that's going to happen, because from a public safety perspective, of course, all the crosswalks on Main Street, they're affected because half of them you can't see. So I would encourage PSE&G to get out there and do it sooner rather than later. Second, this was actually brought up last year, and I actually was there and actually consulted with Chief Johnson. So the stop on Clay and Oaks, it's now a two-way stop. I would highly recommend that the council considers putting an ordinance in place. I guess I was speaking with Monica. We're going to look into what needs to be done to make that an all-way stop. It's for the safety. I was actually there, and there's no sidewalks on Oaks, and cars are just flying on Clay. I talked to Chief Johnson, and he said it'll just slow the cars down on Clay. So from a public safety perspective, I believe we should, as a council, look into doing an all-way stop. And then that is all. Oh, yeah, that's all I have for new business. Thank you.
Can I just, I'm sorry, I reached out to Ralph real quick. June 24th is the target date for PSE&G. They're waiting until school's out, that's why.
So June 24th.
Is the target date. Doesn't mean it's a date, but that's the target date.
I would hesitate, because July 4th, we use.
Is something happening on July 4th?
Yeah, I think there's a little something
In
going on
Milltown?
in Milltown. So we need that road for July 4th, so,
Okay.
yeah, I would hesitate.
All right, I'll let him know.
Okay.
Maybe to wait after July 4th if something's going on that day.
And actually, I do have one other thing, Monica, regarding 2024-149. I know we passed that. Is there any way to inform the residents that that road will be closed for
I
a
can
short
post
period?
it on the front website, and we could throw a nixle out there.
That would be awesome. Thank you so much, just so they're notified. And that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Mike, do you have anything for public service? Because they told us at the meeting here, they were going to pave Main Street in April, and I'm getting a lot of complaints from people about South Main Street. Is there,
Councilman Collins, most of that coordination has been handled by your Public Works Department.
Public Works Department? Okay.
We can help if you like.
Yeah, they're very disappointing now, because what Dave's saying is, or Monica was saying is June 24th, and what happens if we have rain?
I'm not sure why, what the delay is.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Dave said, we're having the 4th of July parade on the 4th, that's 10 days. I mean,
And they
there's so
say
many.
it's probably going to take 2 weeks to do?
My understanding, if they were able to do it one shot, Main Street would be done 2 days mill, 2 days paved, and 1 day to strike.
So 2 weeks. 2 days, 5 days, so it's a week. But that pending.
That's in one shot.
That's also pending any delays with weather.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, we were trying to avoid the chaos of what happened last year with multiple road closings at one time, with PSE&G running around, so figured that at least after the school got out would be better.
South Main Street's so bumpy, I'm not sure you could run the parade through there. The people will be falling off the floats.
let's hope not. Let's hope not.
Only their off-road and cross-country shoes.
Do you have any new business?
I do.
Go ahead.
No, you go.
No, you go. Oh, wait.
Well, thank you, Councilman Poznanski. 2 new items. The first is, I failed to mention this during my report on finance. It was kind of a quasi-finance and utilities meeting, but we started looking into the utility rates, both water, sewer, and electric. We're going to hold off a little bit while we get our new CFO up to speed, but essentially the way that our rate structure is now is based all on consumption, and I'd like to compare it to being a salary employee versus being a commission employee. Commission employees, the more you sell, the more you earn, right? Well, in Milltown, the more utilities that everyone uses, whether it's electric or water, the more revenue we get. Unfortunately, when you have a wet summer or you've got a warm winter, that tends to hurt us financially, and we always try to play catch up. That in conjunction with our vendors, whether it's PSE&G or the City of New Brunswick changing their rates and us trying to react. So the thought was to be proactive. I met with Councilman Collins and Councilman Potter and discussed this, and we're thinking about doing it where the rates cover our costs as a base rate, and then decreasing the consumption values such that if you use more water, terrific, good for you, but we're not making a whole bunch of money on that. We want to make the money on the base pricing, and become more of a salary employee than a commission employee, if that makes sense, everyone. Nothing new on that update yet. We have a lot of numbers to crunch and things to look at, but we are hoping to have something moving forward. The last thing, Mr. Vignola, I asked you about this, and I know our mayor has indicated some interest as well, and believe it or not, this came from a few other council members. What steps does the borough need to take, and what are the changes in our government that would occur should we choose to go nonpartisan as an entity?
Off the top of my head, I do not have an answer, but I can look into that for you.
I'd appreciate that.
Certainly, it's not exactly something that happens regularly.
That is, of course, if the rest of council is interested in pursuing that, making the borough nonpartisan.
First I've heard of it.
Do we have to put that on the ballot, Peter?
I am not sure of the mechanism for changing it, so changing government is not something that is typically a question you get as a municipal attorney, and so I'll have to look into that for you.
So I would get a hold of Mike Cannon and Red Bank. They just did that last year.
Okay, great, thank you.
And I know Spotswood is also nonpartisan.
Right, that was a number of years ago.
That's what Fuzzy said.
I'd like to thank Jane for coming tonight and speaking tonight. I saw her at the senior center last week. She came running up to me.
Councilman, can you just, microphone,
I'm sorry.
please? Thank you.
I thank Jane for coming tonight and bringing her friends. I saw her at the senior center last week, and she came running up to me. I thought she was coming up to give me a hug, but she was coming up to ask me about the senior swim, which I had already been working on. So I'd like to read what I wrote, and I'm very appreciative that you guys came tonight. I wrote up a resolution to allow Milltown seniors over the age of 65 to swim for free. It was not allowed to be on the agenda for tonight. I was under the impression that as a council person, I would be allowed to put up a resolution. But I'd like to say that approximately 66% of our taxes go to the Board of Education for the schools for schools of Milltown students. And the state gives millions of taxpayer dollars to the Board of Education. The fields for sports are maintained for the children. The lights are used for the fields. New dirt was brought in for the fields. Again, this is taxpayer dollars. I'm as supportive for the children in town as I am for the seniors. I've raised my son here. I was very involved in baseball and rec basketball for many years. Most of these seniors have not had a child in the school system for 30 to 40 years or more. They ask for very little and are mostly forgotten. As we have no senior housing in town, many of them can no longer afford to stay in their homes. Free swimming is the least they deserve for as much as they give. That's it.
I got a question here. Under council rules, I got this section 4. It says, it contrasts with New Jersey, which is a revised status of Title 40A municipalities and counties, section 40A:9-133. Is there a way you could look at this, Peter?
I can look at whatever you'd like me to, but you just read a bunch of numbers, and I will admit...
I'll give you a copy
I know
here.
exactly what you're referring to. So.
I made an extra copy, don't worry about it.
Sounds good. I will happily take a look at whatever you'd like me to.
Thank you.
Actually, Mr. Mayor, I'm sorry, I have one other thing. I know in one of our resolutions, the 2 police cars by the DPW have been donated to the rescue squad, but I understand we still have the fire chief's truck there. Do we have an idea what we're going to be doing with that? Or if not, can we at least move it because Memorial Day?
One of the ones that's listed on the resolution of stuff to go to auction.
Okay.
I have to look at the list because there was another email about some other stuff, but then the chief said some of that stuff they still needed, so I have to sort through.
I spoke to the chief the other day. He's actually willing to go over and assist with getting those items posted up there.
No, but
he's done it in
there
the
was stuff
past.
that you had emailed about that he said.
That's right, the 2
so-
trailers that were tan in
Right.
color that are former military, he said those are no longer needed, but there's other vehicles
Yeah,
over
He
so
there
wants a
I-
that
generator
that
that's on
still
the trailer
remain.
to stick around, correct.
Right, generator was a let's get going on it.
Yeah, so we just gotta, I gotta sit down, make sure that we're all on the same page with exactly what's going, and then,
At a minimum, if we can at least move that truck because Memorial Day, the fire department's going to have their service at the firehouse. So if we can clear the lot, it would help. So we have till the end of the month to move it. So, thanks.
Okay. The public comment portion of our meeting is to allow the public to bring to the council's attention their concerns or comments. The council will respect the public's time by refraining from any comment until the speaker has finished. It should be further noted that the public comment portion of our meeting is not structured as a question and answer session. Please state your name and address for the record when you come to the podium.
Judy Scala, 56 South Main Street, Milltown, New Jersey. Hello, Mayor, Councilman, Clerk, and Attorney. This is not ever easy for me to come here. I'm a nervous wreck, but there is still a problem with St. Paul's and the rental of the hall, which shocked me on April 13th, that there was such a huge event, a wedding, I would say about 120 to 125 people. But why I'm shocked is because on the 11th, the president of the consistory came to my home, and I welcomed him in, and we must have talked for a half an hour in my kitchen, and he wanted to see if I was thinking about coming back to church, and then if I felt uncomfortable, I could even sit with his family. And I told him at this time, I just cannot walk into a church where somebody was so rude to me in December, then the pastor goes on social media and talks so poorly of our police department, so poorly of the neighbors, which I am one of the neighbors, saying that we hate the church, we say lies about the church, that the police are harassing. I said to the president of the consistory, there is a serious problem with those statements. And he said that he has spoken to him. He told him to take that down immediately, and that he's not to go on social media, and that he's working with him and guiding him. Then the conversation switched to that he hopes I realize that all the rentals were canceled. And he went over the list with me, the AA, Scouts, the Autism Organization once in a while for the children, and a repass, and their church coffee hour. And I says, yes, that is correct, because I had spoke to the zoning board, and that's what he said. And he said to me, is there something you think we could work on to fix this? And I said, I don't think so, because this is zoned residential. It's against the law to be, you're going and violating an area where you're not supposed to. So after this huge talk, and I kind of felt good that he came to the house, but now I don't even know what this whole discussion was about, because then on the 13th, they rented the hall to this huge wedding. So I don't know anymore where to go for help. So once again, I'm back to you all to see if you can help me. But I just don't think it's fair to the residents, the neighbors, because I've lived here 49 years, and I think I've been a good resident of Milltown. I never, have to be honest, ever watched a council meeting in my life before. Never thought I'd be coming to one. So I thank you all kindly for listening to me, and I hope you can help me with this. I really do. Because it seems to be, they know, maybe they have to have it in writing, what they could have. And I even asked about fundraising. And they said fundraising could take place in the church itself. And he went down the list of everything again, what is only allowed in the hall. So I'm going to say goodnight, and I really hope somebody can help me, because I'm very tired of this. Okay, then good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just as indicated previously, in response to Councilman Poznanski's comments, the matter is pending at the municipal court.
This is embarrassing.
Councilman Poznanski, I would ask if you could just refrain from commenting on the situation, because it is pending.
It's embarrassing.
Okay.
So,
Come on now.
Good evening. Alan Godber, 4 Fern Place, Environment Commission and Lawrence Brook Watershed Partnership. And I here this evening to announce that Lawrence Brook Watershed Partnership is going to do the first cleanup of the year. And that's going to be 2 weeks on Saturday, May the 18th, in the morning from 9 a.m. until 12 noon. And primarily it's going to be in East Brunswick. So we will start at Bicentennial Park, and we're going to be cleaning up down towards the lake. I've been around and inspected some of those areas, and there is tremendous amount of pollution in certain areas. You wouldn't believe that human beings could create such awful mess that's down there, right next to the lake, and then down at Island Brook, on the border between East Brunswick and South Brunswick. It looks like somebody just went out there and threw trash about all over the place. Just dreadful. So if you'd like to come and help us, we need some volunteers. I'll leave some of these flyers outside. It's 2 weeks on Saturday the 18th from 9 a.m. until noon, and we'll start at 8:30. We'll do sign-ups at 8:30. Please come join us.
I'm sorry, where's the start location?
At the Bicentennial Park on River Avenue.
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, Alan.
Richard Ryan, 60 South Main Street. Just let the record reflect, I'm not here with a cell phone and an iPad. They just dragged me kicking into last century. Notes. Mr. Mayor, council members, professionals, ladies and gentlemen. My neighbor Judy is tired. It's wearing all of us out. I don't have the strength for this. If I did, maybe I would still be in politics. But I'll tell you this, I'll not stop coming until this mayor and council deals with this situation. All right, so I'm going to recap for you. It's been established that the point and facility in question is the school. It is under the ownership group of St. Paul's. It's been established that it's a pre-existing non-conforming use condition. It's a conditional use, requires a variance from the zoning planning board. The school, I suppose, falls under public-private institutions of educations not operated for profit. I further believe that St. Paul's has no choice but to completely cease and desist all activity in that school, effective immediately. All of it. If you need me to be more specific, I certainly will. I think the next step, which we're still here debating for 4 months now, is that St. Paul's has to file an application with the zoning planning board to obtain a variance. If they choose not to, which seems to be the case, right, then I think their only other recourse is to apply to the planning board to ask for an interpretation of the current zoning law as it pertains to that zone. If they do that, I still stand where I stood months ago, that in my humble opinion, this mayor and council can't arbitrarily come to their own conclusion and rule on this thing unless certain steps are taken. All right? If the planning board were to determine that we took a good look at this and we think the language should or could be changed, I think then that comes to mayor and council for mayor and council's decision on same. I don't know if any of that's going to happen. If it doesn't, I still say at this point, cease and desist. They have continued to prove they do not care about us. And several other residents who, by their own choosing, which is fine, don't come out here, but check the police records. We're not the only two people calling and complaining about what's going on over there. So, I've questioned in the past if there have been steps taken behind the scenes to try and resolve some of these things. I don't think there was a unilateral decision that was made. I appreciate those steps, but anybody who thinks that they are going to successfully negotiate with the pastor and the president of that consistory is, I'm sorry, a little bit out of touch. Because what have they done over and over and over? Violate the law. Right? So, here's the part that's a little bit difficult for me. There is some thought that this could have been dealt with immediately after the first time I came and brought it up to council. What's immediate? I understand the wheel of government is a slow-moving wheel. I also understand that it was not until 2 weeks later, the next council meeting, where they had an opportunity to come share their perspective on what was happening. So I didn't expect anything to happen immediately. But we would not be here 4 months down the road if somebody would have stood up and said to the consistory and the pastor, this is unacceptable in any possible thought process. It's unacceptable that you would continue to do this stuff. I said it before, I'm going to say it again tonight. Essentially, council's complicit because they have sat here and listened to me say, why should we be burdened with the fact that their church can't raise enough money to support itself, so that we're impacted by decisions they make. And then they come here and talk about how it's late, you can't cancel events, there's caterers, there's invitations. I don't care about any of that anymore. I really don't. They're breaking the law every single time anything happens in that school. I don't care if it's social hour after Sunday Mass. I really don't. Their social hall is what they call it. You know what it is? It's a school. It's not a social hall. I don't see how Boy Scouts are there. I don't see how AA and NA are there. I don't see how there's a daycare facility there. I mean, what do I have to do? How far do I have to go to get the people that are elected to do these things for what's best for the whole community, right, to do it? So, they can refer to that as their social hall all they want. It doesn't change the fact. There's a number of things that are going on, and there's always questions about, well, what is it? Is it noise? Is it people? What is it? The president of the consistory, when he was here, made reference to the fact that, well, if it was 1 minute after 10 or 2 minutes after 10, what are we going to do? That people are calling the police. And then he said, or if they're calling at 8:30 to tell them that they're going to call at 10 o'clock. I've done nothing but come here and share facts, and I'm going to continue to do that. I have called at 8:30. I have called at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I will continue to call because I'm calling to make the record reflect that every time there's an event there, they're breaking the law. Right? Now, when it becomes late, if it's running after 10 o'clock or even at 8 o'clock, if the noise level is too high, there are other phone calls coming in. I am reporting the facts. They want to sidestep all that. I wasn't going to go here, but I'm going to now because Councilman Poznanski has made some comments. And I appreciate that, and I respect his point of view, as I respect everybody's point of view. I also have said time and time again that I respect the fact that the borough attorney is telling you guys that you shouldn't have public discussion about this because it's litigation. I take a different stance. After what they did again last Saturday, I take a different stance. I say it's high time you talk about it. And if you guys decide collectively that you need to communicate better with one another, I understand that. But I think the discussions should be public, right? Because just because violations have been written, 2 of them, 4 months, 2 violations. One was set aside, essentially saying, well, if, you got probation, right? If you behave and you don't continue to do this, that violation will go away. They did exactly what they've wanted to do all along. Now they got 2 violations. 4 months I've been coming, gang, 4 months. 2 violations. You're complicit. You really are. And I'm sorry to have to say that. You know, there's language in, there's plenty of language in zoning law about strict adherence, about things that may be detrimental to the community, right? Or the neighbors in that zone where that stuff happens. That's real language. That means something. And it means something, certainly at times on a far larger scale than this. But it's been demonstrated over and over again, that's my only recourse, to go there. I know I'm wearing you guys out, but I will also say that I think that when we endeavor to run for public office and are fortunate enough to be elected, we put our hand on a Bible and we take an oath. So I don't necessarily care how you're being advised any longer, right? I think we're here in that position to stand up and speak and answer questions and do the right thing. I don't believe that there's litigation against this mayor and council with regard to those violations. Right? That's before a judge and a prosecutor, whenever that date comes. And I want to make a point that when that date comes, I certainly would expect somebody to share that date with me, because when they got the first violation, it was coincidentally scheduled on virtual only day. So I came down here to speak to the prosecutor, knowing that that would be kind of off the record, that I wouldn't really participate in the court hearing, right? But there was nobody here. And I sure would like to see those 2 violations come on a day when everybody's got to show up. And I'll be back here to talk to the prosecutor. Hopefully this time I'll get her. I want to touch on a few future coming issues with regard to the same scenario over here, right? I started to touch on it, sidetracked myself, but it's not just noise. It's pedestrian traffic, it's vehicle traffic, it's noise, it's late hours. Some of these events have been hundreds of people, okay? And it's our backyard. You know what my neighbor sees when she sits in her family room and looks out the back window wall of her home? A garbage dumpster. Whether this particular truck is running or not, registered or not, I don't care. When the pastor moved in, he parked a pickup truck there, and it's been there ever since, never moved. That's the view from my neighbor's living room and from my backyard. I want that dumpster moved back where it was, in their parking lot. That's what I want. And I expect that a zoning official has the authority to go over and demand that of them. I want that truck gone. And I'll go one step further. I'm sorry I have to do it, but you can get rid of that Boy Scout trailer too if necessary. Get rid of it. I don't want it in my backyard. Nobody asked me permission. You'll take your chance. You'll take your time up here. It's enough! You'll have your sense to say, I'll attack you if it's necessary. This is not unlike what I have to deal with the pastor. okay? And I'm not wasting everybody's time. You can go home. My time's as equally important as anybody else's. 30 years, no better.
Enough.
I want that dumpster moved. That dumpster typically gets picked up first thing Monday morning. Sometimes it's a day late, sometimes it's later in the day. The truck to come and get the dumpster barely fits in the fire lane, not a driveway, that circles behind that school. Sometimes, based on who the driver is, it's any number of maneuvers to fit through between the overhang over their side entrance and the fence on my property line. So where am I going when they hit the fence? Am I coming here? Social media. The comments that were made on social media on the Milltown for All site late on a Saturday night after the police came by to check and make sure everybody was okay because there was an alarm going off on the vehicle. Were troublesome at best. I understand these sites. I understand people who interact on them. I understand that particular site does an awful lot of good for the community. I see plenty of positive things that take place on that page. I also am aware that some people like to go there and comment just to stir trouble. There's something else that the public should be aware of. The police showed up at the pastor's residence to ensure that everybody was okay when the car alarm was going off through many cycles late in the evening. It was after 11. It might have been going on after 12. And he went and spewed venom. Okay, Russ, you listening? He spewed venom. Let me tell you something. It was the 5th time he did it before he got caught. I have video evidence of it. Once he sat out there with his little fire in the base of the driveway with the key fob for his van that was parked right behind him, setting it off cycle after cycle till all hours of the morning. It might have been 1 or 2 in the morning it was still happening. Okay? Once, all the neighbors on Main Street were on their front porches asking, what's going on here? As he was having a fight with his wife because he was sitting on his front porch doing the same thing and she was trying to get the key from him. All right? But the Milltown police are awful. The only reason we have any sanity with regard to this issue is because the police department has stood up every time to try and help us. And we have had some support from a couple of council members. We've certainly had support from the borough attorney, but I'm not convinced this thing doesn't go away until somebody says, you're finished, out of business. See you in 2 weeks.
Thank you, Rich and Judy.
Thank you, Mitch.
Peter, I can't say anything here, can I?
Councilman Poznanski, as indicated previously, this matter is currently pending in municipal court.
Under penalty of what? What's my penalty if I speak? This is a shame. This is shameful for them to come here.
Liability potentially for the borough, Councilman Poznanski. That is what the potential is.
Okay.
Can I ask a question, Peter? Can I ask a question for you, Peter?
You can ask me a question,
Okay,
Councilman Collins.
if you can't answer it, don't answer it.
I certainly will not.
Okay, isn't it possible that, being that this is tied up in court, Mr. Ryan there can pursue a summons on his own?
Mr. Ryan has private rights as a citizen that he can pursue.
That he can pursue a summons on his own, due to our inability, but,
Well, what his rights are for him to figure out. This is not a place for private residents to come and get counsel regarding their rights. So,
thank you.
Jeanette Larison, 441 Spar Avenue, Beechwood.
I know you're all probably really surprised to see me tonight. I just happened to be in town having dinner with friends, and I thought, why not stop in and see what I've been missing? You know, something came to mind to me that when I was here for 5 years, and comments that I would make, and I find myself in the same position, so I swore that I would come out and address it. So in the 5 years, I saw a handful of people, employees come and go for various reasons. And I would jokingly say, and when I watch them move on to other career choices, most of them moved on to greener pastures, got better jobs, more money, closer to home, whatever it was. And I used to jokingly say to my faithful assistant, geez, I never got a thank you. Not a fruit basket, not an edible arrangement, not flowers, for helping them move on when they maybe otherwise would not have. And so that is the rationale that brings me here tonight, because I find myself in that same paradox. So I just wanted to say thank you to those of you who were instrumental in my termination. No hard feelings, but I have been able to move on to greener pastures and further my career path. And I don't think I would have done that had that not happened. I probably would be sitting in that chair right there and in it with all of you. So I want to thank you all for the opportunity you afforded me here and for the opportunity that led me to my current position. Have a good night.
Gary Murray, 35 JFK. Good evening, esteemed councilmen. Most of you know me very well. What you mostly haven't seen me is that I usually have two accompanying parties with me, my dogs. And as most of you council members know me, and I know your dogs as well too, and I've come here to talk on behalf kind of them, but also of the greater good of Milltown. Mayor Murray, you've got this great plan you ran on about revitalizing the area out here, bridge, and all that. And I've spoken to some of you guys off the record, but I want to speak on the record just to kind of have an idea of how things go at the speed of government, and get on the record that I'd like to propose as part of your plan, your revitalization of this area, to have a dog park in here on the side of the old public works. I feel it's a good place environmentally, noise-wise, accessibly. It brings people together, brings other, it just becomes a part of the recreational society out here. So I was kind of wanting to know how to get it on the kind of the agenda. Is there a committee? Do you need surveys? The more I talk about it, the more people seem to like that idea of having a dog park in Milltown. Something we can call our own, something we can socialize, and those type of areas as well too. Now all of you I know love your dogs as much as I do, and probably feel the same way about that. So I was kind of curious to say, I know a lot of things have to be put in motion and have to be done, but how can we have this put into play to say, okay, look, we can maybe put it in with the rest of our plan as well too, as per the time, just to have it on record. How could that be done? Or just to say, hey, you know, I know the speed of government. It kind of fast, slow, hurry up and wait. I get these things. But at least put it maybe in the agenda for that greater plan you have.
I can tell you, sir, I've been pushing for that since 2002.
I like you already. Of all people,
and like poor Mr. Ryan, we can't get anything done in a hurry, you know?
I get that. So, I mean, I know it's perfect. You have the right plan out here. It's township property. It won't be a noise ordinance. I've talked to the Environmental Commission. I've talked to the Planning Board. I've talked about revitalization. I've talked to everybody. It seems to be a good idea. How can we get it into this revitalization plan and just even have the agenda? Can there be a committee about it? And if so, how can I get on it and kind of get works done upon that and put on the record that, yeah, we'd like to do this and we'll put it in the agenda with the rest of it. So that's kind of what I'm asking about and taking it from there. Not to rush you guys. I mean, I appreciate all your time and effort and all this and your patience listening to me. But I want to put it on record to say, we need to do it. Let's get it done. Let's have a Bark Place for Milltown.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Is there just a process, just like, is there, I just want to know, can this, or how would this be done, or can someone tell me, like, yeah, we'll mark it down, we'll put it on our agenda upon that, or if anybody has any questions, or wants to shoot me down while I'm, standing up here?
I just wrote it down. I wrote down committee
Microphone.
for DPW Park. Because I think it is good to get more community members involved in, the thought process and starting ideas around what could happen over there. I know we've started moving forward already, looking for the title for the train tracks that cross over there in conjunction with some other things.
Yeah, I get it.
Now we've got some work going on at Albert Avenue Park that's planned for the near future. Some other things over at Borough Park that need to get done. Only so much money that goes around each year, so right now do what we can. But I like the idea of having that committee for everyone to join in and say, hey, here's what I'd like to see over there and what could benefit the town. So
Okay.
I appreciate you bringing it up.
Yes. And would it be formed? When would we be formed? Or can I get at least someone to put my name on a list and a phone number to say, hey, Darren, we're starting up the band. Let's do it.
I don't typically tell people this, but I know where you live.
Yes,
So
Darren, I think you just did.
I think you just
Did. It's all in the records, so it's all in the minutes. So your information's in there.
Oh, good. Well, and phone number and all that too. Just like I said, just.
I have all that in my office.
Yes,
I'm the keeper of all the things.
my family. That's why. So, but I just figured put it formally and let's do it and sign me up and get me in there and let's boogie.
So Darren, we did have the conversation multiple times, which, we commenting on the size, we'd have to look at all that obviously,
Yes,
but.
I'd like to be part of that if possible.
Yeah, we did discuss it, when you had that conversation with me, I did mention to Council President Revelinsky, so, it didn't fall on deaf ears, it was just, we're still, the borough guys are still trying to get it cleaned
Yes.
up, we're trying to, get everything taken care of, as quickly as possible, so.
Gotcha. Is there somehow I can be a party to the next official part of it or whatever if it is considering or?
I think we need to get our ducks in a row, eggs in a basket, and dogs in a park, so that we can formalize a committee and invite folks of the town if that's what the council feels is appropriate for
Wonderful.
looking into that point.
And sign me up with it when that happens, please, please, please. And I thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience.
Thank you, Darren.
Council comments. Oh. Come on, Rich.
Sidetracked by hecklers. I have a quick question for the clerk. I see now that they've announced St. Paul's a bingo night.
Oh, here we go.
Coming in May. I'm curious, are you aware of any application for permit for that particular event?
I have received applications.
You have?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I sure hope that bingo is happening in the church basement, people.
Are there any council comments?
We need to close the public portion.
Sorry. Got to close the public portion of the meeting.
Yes.
Does any member of council have anything they would like to bring up at this time?
Yes, I missed this, I'm sorry. On resolution, is it 24-1535? And let's see, it's like, I think it's page 3, under cat licenses. It says fee of $12, and in parentheses, it says 15. We gotta make a correction on that.
I'm sorry, hold on. Are we looking at the ordinance?
Yeah, looking at the ordinance. I'm sorry, I pulled that before.
That's a multi-cat discount?
Is
that?
Page 3.
Yeah, it says,
Okay.
it should be 12, I think. Is that right?
Oh, that is a
Sorry about that.
typo.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I should have picked that up before.
That is a typo. I will be sure to fix that. Thank you for catching that.
The cat didn't get out of the bag, I guess.
Can't be perfect all the time.
And just to be quick, So the Board of Education, their meeting regarding their budget is going to be next Monday. And then there's also a meeting the following week, which I believe is their standard agenda meeting. And we talk a lot about the Board of Ed in general. Even I have before I got here. Certainly a lot of money that moves around. And realistically, so the timing of it doesn't work out for councilmen to always get to those meetings. But if you can, anyone can, they're open, certainly worth taking a look. And I've been talking a little bit with people on the Board of Ed, just in general. And I think that there's not that many people at their meetings. And I think having some extra people there, people coming in and expressing an interest, and beyond expressing an interest or critique of them, just the idea that, hey, we are interested, maybe there's something that we can offer them, they might appreciate. I get the feeling it is a big undertaking. They run a lot of things, and a little support in town, people at the meetings. Even here, we may not hear exactly, we don't get parades, we don't always hear the things we want to hear, but it's nice when people come. And so I think we keep that in mind. If you can get to a Board of Ed meeting, it'd be very important. A couple quick things I forgot to mention about Earth Day was that Home Depot donated and pre-cut all the bat houses and just gave it to us in kits for us to put them together, which made things a lot easier. And we were supposed to have someone who was basically a bat expert coming out of an exterminator company that was going to do some details and a little information about how good bats are for an environment, how they can eat a couple thousand bugs in a night. And that guy couldn't make it. And he was also going to be a distraction while I maybe assembled some houses or taught kids how to do it. And Melissa Elmeyer from Untraditional Revival stepped up and did that, which was clutch, and just a consistent volunteer. And thank you, Darren, also for helping me move a lot of kayaks, putting people in and out of the water. I say people, but really it was boats. Not many people. We did put a lot of boats in the water, and all the people that went in the water did come out. So that's true success. And but it takes a town to run a great event. A lot of great people involved in that day, whether they're there on the forefront or behind it, or they just show up. And I turned around and I think one of the guys that might be behind the camera was suddenly holding my screw gun and assembling bat houses so other kids could put them together. And when I say it takes a town to raise, whatever you want to, whatever that phrase is, a village takes a village to raise a. I think this is a great event for a lot of reasons. So, thank you, everyone.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to also congratulate our well-deserved proclamations, Grandpa George Geis, our Borough Clerk and Deputy Clerk, and our Police Safety Telecommunicators. Kathy Beardsley, we wish you all the best on your day tomorrow. We will miss you, and thank you for your years of dedicated service to the borough. And also, too, happy Mother's Day, because we understand before our next meeting, Mother's Day will happen within, so happy Mother's Day to all the moms.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor, just had one final thing. I'd like to send thoughts and prayers out to the Jemsky family. Kaz Jemsky passed away this past Friday. I had the good fortune of getting to know him when my father-in-law attended the seniors, and then I continued getting to know Kaz little by little. He was a committee man, a Democratic committee man in town, and just a great guy. He was all about service. He was all about his family. Any contributions that may be made can be sent to either the Rescue Squad or Elijah's Promise. Just shows you what Kaz was all about, and I'll miss him dearly. Thank you.
Well said. Well said.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'd also like to thank Kathy Beardsley for all her service to the town, and she did an outstanding job, and all the nights she spent at the Board of Health there late. And I'd also like to thank George Geis, and we missed something in his, excuse me? No, we missed something in his background, that he is also not only a Korean veteran, but he's also a Vietnam veteran, and he's an outstanding individual, and he's been an inspiration for me, and I'd just like to say thanks, George. Congratulations.
I'd like to say two things. Firstly, I'd like to apologize for our last meeting that devolved into disharmony. We on council are 6 out of approximately 7,000 residents. Much is expected of us, and we must do better. We've been elected to lead by example. To make our town as good as we can make it, we must hold ourselves accountable. We've earned the trust of our townspeople, and hopefully the respect as well. We're held to a higher standard. We need to live up to that and behave accordingly. There's no one coming to save us. It's up to us up here on the dais to give the people value and services for their taxpayer dollars. Each of us has put our reputations on the line, gone door to door for months, working very hard behind the scenes, which people don't see because you only see us on these Monday nights. And it's for you, all of Milltown. We have you, our neighbors' best interests at heart. The beginnings of new governance often have growing pains. They usually normalize, and we shall also. After the last meeting, we had very productive talks. We all agree on our obligations to our town. As for the politics of Washington and Trenton, that's upsetting to many people. We do not abide by politicization here. We will work together for the betterment of our town. That is a promise to you. We live here, as do our families. Lastly, please be respectful to those of us sitting before you in your tone and your demeanor towards us. Please do your part in your families, in your community. As I've said, no one's coming to save us. Please volunteer to do your part. I'll do mine. Together we can make Milltown greater than it is and as great as it can be. And from the dais, that would be us, council, mayor, comments are not for negative comments towards anyone else. I also have something else to bring up, which is on a positive note. It's, I would like to make a proclamation for our next meeting. It's for Night of Honors. I recommend that we honor, her name is Melissa Lazar. She's a nurse that saved the life of, her name was Fran Zatz, at the Muscle Mill Gym on Main Street. And I know both of those people, and she absolutely saved her life. Her heart had stopped. And also, thank you to the Milltown Police Department and the Rescue Squad for doing their part. And I also recommend we honor Milltown Fire Department and the Rescue Squad for their response to and bravery at the 8-alarm fire in North Brunswick in the warehouse that was destroyed. They were there, if anyone knows, they were there from 4 in the afternoon approximately till about 7 o'clock the next morning. And I also recommend that we honor Officers McCabe and Espinosa of the Milltown Police Department for saving the precious life of the young child a few weeks ago. And lastly, I would like to honor our beloved Kathleen Beardsley, who gave us almost 20 years of dedicated, loyal service in the Milltown Borough Clerk's office. Kathy has been a comforting presence and will be very missed. And that's it for me.
Oh, I'd just like to say, Gary, I was working on the same thing from Melissa.
Were you?
Yes, it was. I just talked to Michelle today about it, so.
Yeah, once you guys get me all the background information, I can write up those proclamations and put them on.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, I had a quick one. When you guys were in executive session tonight, I returned a call from somebody from Robert Wood Johnson University Hospital that was interested in having, it's a pilot grant program for the county that they teach second graders. It's up to $18,000. They teach second graders how to swim. It's just a grant. We don't have to pay anything for it. All we do is submit the time that the lifeguards spend. I just wanted to see if council would approve me submitting for the grant. I would actually have to talk to the recreation director to see what the swimming lessons costs were so they could be included in the potential for the grant. I just wanted to see if that would be something that you guys would be okay with.
Do you know the deadline on the grant?
I'm sorry?
The deadline for the grant?
It's tomorrow. She contacted me and she sent it to my email, but she sent it to milltown.org, so I never received it. She sent it last week. I'll forward it. I just didn't want to do it during the meeting to be disrespectful.
I personally have no problem with it. I mean, it always makes me nervous when we do things last minute. If there's any underlying costs or things of that nature, also disturbing our recreation director at 9:16 on Monday night. Might not go over well.
Correct.
But if you get a hold of her tomorrow morning and they can throw some numbers together, I'd gladly take some money, and hey, maybe that goes towards helping us offer some reduced rates even further for the pool.
Well, it's not, it's for the swim lessons for second graders.
Understood.
It's gonna be specific, but I will forward it to everyone on council and the clerk tonight. And then tomorrow morning, when I get with the recreation director, then I'll provide the updates with that. I'll send the updates to everyone.
You guys are going to need to take some kind of action then tonight.
Yes.
You're essentially going to need a motion and a second to move forward with that grant.
I'll make a motion, we move forward with that grant.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Collins, second by Council President Rosalinsky. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you. I don't have anything else for that. Agenda session. Next on the agenda, we have items for discussion for the May 13th, 2024 meeting. It's Youth and Government. We will have ordinance, public hearing, second reading, 2024-1535, ordinance to amend Chapter 22, Section 11, entitled Right of Access, Chapter 22, Section 22, testing matters, testing meters, failure of meters, Chapter 25, Section 7, entitled Meter Testing, Chapter 25, Section 7, entitled Meter Testing, Chapter 22, Section 2, entitled Fees, Municipal Services, Chapter 5, Section 1.7, entitled Dog License Fees, Chapter 5, Section 5-2.3, entitled Cat License Fees, Chapter 4, Section 40.7, entitled Fees, Chapter 6, Section 6.34, entitled Classes and Maximum Number of Licenses, License Fees, and Chapter 15, Section 2, entitled Administrative Fees for all subcodes of the revised general ordinance of the Borough of Milltown. Any questions or comments? Thank you. At this time, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
So quick to get out of here.
Motion by Councilman Collins, second by Councilman Potter.
I'm trying to get to
All in
the other
favor?
room.
Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Isn't there any discussion? No? Everyone get out?
Wait,
Just did it.